Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is the 19th of November, 2025. I want to welcome you all to our continuing monthly series on the joy of wellness, creating a vibrant life, presented by Dr. Chetana Kripalu. This is our fourth session, and the topic today is reduction of toxicity. So, Chetana, you may begin.
All right, thank you, Sachin. And yeah, I have a lot of things in this presentation. We'll try to go through it, but please go through it on your at your own pace. And because these things are not something normally we discuss, and there's a lot of information in that. So again, we are trying. This is just a slide where we are kind of recollecting what all are the pillars of health or wellness. So the number one is obviously the stress regulation, then nutrition, movement, reduction of toxicity, which we're going to talk about today, sleep, connectedness, and fun. So let's go to the topic today, which is the reduction of toxicity. Um, Next slide, yeah. So essentially, understanding environmental toxins and how lowering exposure protects long-term health. So there's different um, toxins which we're exposed to, and we'll go over one by one, and how we can reduce it, because obviously we cannot eliminate it because we live in this world where there's a lot of things which have no control over, but we can minimize it. So its overview is understanding the environmental toxins and how lowering exposure protects long-term health. Then again, what are they? Everyday exposures to water, food, of course, air. Not so much air where we live, probably, which is kind of nice. But in some of the cities, especially in India, there's some cities which is notorious for air pollution, and so we have to really do our best, in those if you live in those cities. And then, of course, little changes you can bring into your home, reduce this toxin burden for your body. So, next slide. Yeah, why does it matter, right? What does it do to us? So toxins disrupt something called the endocrine function, and when endocrine function means it's all about hormones. And so when they do that, they increase the inflammation, and so what happens when inflammation, like we have discussed before, it weakens our immune system. Some of these chemicals also, like said above, block the hormones. So the different kind of hormones, especially the thyroid hormones, and then all the hormones in our body from head to literally everywhere, and the reproductive hormones too for young people. And constant exposure can cause kind of fertility issues and things like that. So by reducing it, increases or improves your metabolism, immune system, of course, sleep and resilience. Next slide. Okay. So again, this is important. Identify your common household toxins. So take this, basically scan, then pay attention, and start with the room one by one. Because I just thought when you go from room to room, it's easy to kind of, I wouldn't say remember, but the next time you go to the store to buy some products, it will occur to you like, okay, what am I buying now? Is it the kitchen items, bathroom, bedroom items, personal care, laundry, whatever it is. So it's important for us to know that. Okay. All right. Next slide. Yeah, so again, as I said, we'll walk room by room to figure out what are the harmful chemicals in them that we should be avoiding, and then what are the alternatives. Next slide. Yeah, so it's same thing. Look up the room and products you use, especially laundry, kitchen, bathroom. Then identify the harmful chemicals. Then replace them with other alternatives which have low toxin load. And then some of the trusted resources. This is important. Something to write down or even look through the slides and make a note of it. It's called EWG. I think it's Environmental Wellness Group. And then it's called, another one is Made Safe. And then the EPA, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of EPA. It is has these somewhat better brands, I wouldn't say non-toxic, but much lower toxic load. Next slide. So let's see laundry room detergents, softeners, dryer sheets, etc. Right? So what are the common ones? Liquid powder, fabric softeners, dry sheets, scent boosters, which we all use because we want our clothes to be smelling good. So the main chemicals which you have seen is called phthalates, and then optical, like to brighteners, then bleach. So these are the names you want to just keep in mind to say, okay, if I see all these, then that means it's a boatload of toxins. So what does it do to some people who are very sensitive? It can cause skin irritation. Again, the endocrine disruptions we talked about, even pollution actually, and then even the water can get polluted after when these chemicals get into the water which is being used. So, what are the safer alternatives? The same slide. So plant-based all-purpose concentrates. There's something called cast-iron soap paste, hydrogen peroxide or alcohol disinfectants used selectively, of course. And where to buy? I think it's called Branch Basics, Blue Land, Better Life, Seventh Generation, Force of Nature. Then again, like I said, EWG, Healthy Cleaning, and it's there's a list called Made Safe List. So it's good to keep that in mind, and look through some of the products which you're going to buy. The next one is kitchen, right? Did we miss a slide? Or is this the next one? After the laundry. Yeah, there you go. I, I didn't go through that, certain the one before. Yeah, there you go. So this is again very important. Kitchen is the most important place where we use a lot of cleaners to, surface cleaning, like the counters, the back of the stove, all the appliances. There's so many things which we want to keep clean with cleaners. So there are also degreasers, disinfectant sprays and wipes. So the harmful chemicals, again, they're all chlorine, bleach. There's something called quartz, ammonia, glycol ether, synthetic fragrance, and harsh solvents. Now, what does it cause? Again, skin irritation. There's some people, it becomes so bad that even after a while, even the water in the kitchen starts hurting the skin. It becomes so irritable and almost causes like eczema, like reaction. So again, people who inhale the vapors, who have asthma, gets worse. Allergies can get worse. And also some of it takes off all the bacteria. Of course, if you want to take the bad bacteria, but sometimes even the beneficial microbes are all wiped off. So the safer alternatives, again, plant-based all-purpose cleaners, similar, which we discussed before, and the same where to buy is the same list. Next slide. So again, dish soap and dishwashing detergent, liquids, dish soap, dishwasher pods, and rinse aids. They're all they have the harmful chemicals are synthetic fragrance, dyes, chlorine compounds, and there's something called isothiazolene, thiazolidinone. But you don't have to remember this. You just know that if it sounds something like this, then it's harmful. The concerns, again, same thing, right? It leaves residues on the dishes, utensils, which we use again. Then again, the water, bay pollution, that. Then also the safer alternatives are same thing, fragrance free, and naturally scented dish soaps, powder or tablet detergent, mineral and plant-based ingredients. So there's no chlorine, a lot of chlorine and phosphates. And where to buy? There's something called Attitude, Puracy, Aspen Clean, Ecover, a seventh generation from Natural Grocers. Natural Grocers is I think you can look it up on the website. Thrive Market is really nice. I have seen that. They're like Thrive Market was started by a couple, like two guys, and they do a good job. It's very reasonable. And the other ones are all called Grove Collaborative. I don't know them much, but it was, one of the things I found. Um, yeah. Then, yes, this is very important, as everybody knows. Cookware and food storage. We've been talking about it a while, right? So common supplies, pots and pans, utensils which you cook, ladles, aluminum foil, plastic wrap, all these things. Plastic is a big, big problem now. In fact, I did recently a CME, which is a continuing medical education course, where they were talking about something called microplastics, and this is very important. We consume plastics in some form or the other, and even like the cutting boards which we use, it's plastic, so they leave small pieces of it in the food when you cut it and cook it. which goes into your system. So they did a study where they found people who had, if everybody knows, there is like there's a big vessel in your neck called carotid arteries, which is like the main supplier for your brain and the rest of the body and the heart. A lot of people have issues with that. They have something called plaques, just like they have plaques in the arteries in the heart. They people who had surgeries in it, just like you have bypass here, they do a procedure there, and they looked into the plaques and examined them, and they saw microplastics in them. So if it's in them, then it's everywhere in the body. So how does it get into it? That's the thing, right? Non-stick pans, of course, you don't want to use, and then ideally, it's important. The main ones which I would say you should use is stainless steel, ceramics, and cast iron. Cast iron has to be maintained. It's a little bit of a problem. You have to, I think you have to, there's a procedure to maintain. You want to look into it, but stainless steel can be very easy, and nothing hurts it in the sense that it's not going to cause any problem and leave any residue. So that's why, like it says, concerns potentially leaching to the food, same thing, causing hormone disruption, etc. So there you go, stainless steel, cast iron. Then the other things is the storage stuff, right? Glass containers are probably the best. I don't even approve of silicone storage containers, because I think even they have some form of, I wouldn't say plastic, but which is not good for us. So ceramic and glass, and stainless steel. Of course, the microwavable and oven proof, you would say glass, the Pyrex and things like that. I mean, ideally, you should, even the microwave is a big question nowadays, where you say there's a different kind of radiation it's using. So I would say, sorry, I have a question here. What are your thoughts on Pampered Chef? That is clay. Yeah, I think clay is good, actually. I like that. People use these, I don't know, I think it's clay only, these pots nowadays, pots and pans, to cook. Yeah, I think it's good. They used to use copper. I'm not so excited about it. The copper also leaches into the food, and excessive copper can also be a problem. So I think clay is not bad. Good. That's a good suggestion. So again, where to buy cookware from Lodge, Crusade, Le Crusade. Everybody's heard. I may not be saying it right. Anchor Hawking. That's another group. Pyrex. IKEA has a lot of stuff, and it's very reasonable and cheap. So that's that. Next slide. Now coming back to bathroom and surface and toilet cleaners. This is again bathroom sprays, mildew removers, toilet cleaners, chlorine bleach. Although it removes all the bacteria and harmful viruses, etc., you want to not overuse it, really minimize it. Important. Again, vapors inhaled, corrosive to the skin and eyes. Fumes inhaling, inhaled, I mean, when you inhale, it goes into the lungs. So what are the alternatives? Vinegar based, citric acid based, plant based toilet bowl cleaners. Again, hydrogen peroxide for the mildews, spots. The same. I think it's pretty much the same. Where to buy? The same websites where you can reach out. I mean, buy products from. Sorry. Next one. Yeah. So again, hand soaps and other products, foaming soaps, liquid hand soaps. Look for triclosan, which is actually very old for antibacterial, not so good. Anything with a lot of scent, not so good. Parabens is again a big one. Then other dyes. Same thing, it disrupts, it does the same thing, and it causes skin irritation, hormone disruption, etc. What do you do? What are the other alternatives? Fragrance free, of course, naturally scented soaps, simple bar soaps with um, plant oils. I think you do get them pretty much everywhere. There's a company called Lush, and there's a place in the mall too, which sells soaps and cosmetics. And then you may want to look at the EWG website where it says it's verified by them, and then the Made Safe. Where to buy again? Dr. Bronner's, everyone, then Attitude, local artisans, of course. You can have these people who come in farmers market or the local flea market where they come and have these small they put up these small, areas where they sell these things. Co-ops, of course, all of them. Next slide. Now, this is again a big deal. Floor carpets and dusting, floor cleaners, the wood vinyl carpets, and then people to keep the carpet smelling good. You have all these sprays you use, wet sprays, and then also like the fragrance ones, and then of course furnitures. The polish they use on them. Those are all like harmful. The chemicals again, formaldehyde, aerosol propellants. Quat is a big one. Again, inhalations of vapor and dust, especially when children are around and pets, they would, be all over the place and exposed to all this at a very young age, especially children. So what else do you use? Simple soap and water mopping, then vinegar-based floor cleaners, like we said before, microfiber dusting cloths instead of using wipes, old school, and then plant-based wood polish. The companies Aunt Fanny's, Better Life, again, Attitude, which we talked about. You could use microfiber cloths, reusable ones, and wash them instead of the disposable. And even I'm not a big fan of even paper towels. It's better to use those microfiber cloths actually. And then of course some other online marketplaces. Next slide. Okay, air fresheners, candles, and scented products. This is really huge because we think air fresheners, we've been using it forever and we think it's kind of harmless. It is not. So I think we have to be careful about plug-in air fresheners, scented candles, wax melts, and all of them. We really want to see if you, I usually like the ones which are essential oil based, which is really, and you get those in candles. You also get that as a freshener too, air freshener too. So that's very important. Of course, you can open the windows occasionally, even in the cold for a bit, so that all the bad smells in the house kind of and air it out a little bit. You can use HEPA filtration for the true fresh air. That would help. Again, where to buy. This Fontana Candle Company, Blue Corn, essential oils you can buy. There's a ton of um, places to buy that from. Um, and a lot of aromatherapy. If you put this, I think doTERRA was the one, and there was one more, I can't remember. Those are all the big companies, and you don't need much. You just need a couple of drops and put it in the mist, which comes out, and it really smells good. Actually, it even helps you in major ways. Otherwise, also, it actually is healthier. In so many, I mean, we'll talk about essentialism as a whole topic in itself, but it's very beneficial. So you could definitely switch to that. That's something which easily can be done. Um, Again, kids, pets, and high contact surfaces, similar, high exposure for babies, children, and pets, especially the people who, in the kids, I mean, babies at that age where put everything in the mouth. Um, you want to be careful. So chemicals are a bigger problem than microbes, believe it or not. It's not the viruses and the bacteria. The chemicals are probably more harmful than anything else. Then again, if we go on the disinfectant wipes, upholstery stain removers, toy cleaners, so just soap and water for toy cleaners. Um, and where to buy, Branch Basics, Force of Nature, the EWG and Made Safe again. They have a lot of pet safe choices. Yeah, next slide. Again, look for clear ingredient lists instead of vague terms like proprietary ban on fragrance. Again, all these are important that the EWG verified, made safe, EPA, safer choice. Use online tools, EWG's guide to healthy cleaning and skin deep to compare products, shop at the natural grocers, co-ops, Thrive Market. We talked about this, but just kind of reiterating that. Some of the brand websites. Yeah, so again, you want to gradually do this. Obviously, don't you can't throw away everything you have and then replace them. So I think one by one, because that can get expensive. So you want to do that slowly and one thing at a time. Next slide. Yeah, so this is again important. We I think we some of us do it already to improve the indoor air quality. They have air purifiers, HEPA filters in bedrooms and main living areas when possible. Opening windows is important. Indoor plants help. That's a huge thing. And don't want to, of course, smoke inside the house. And be careful about that. Again, we talked about synthetic air fresheners and other scented products. Next slide. Yeah, this is again the same thing. Avoid microwaving food or drinks in plastic containers. Choose glass, stainless steel, and silicone. I don't like silicone either. I know they've said silicone alternatives, but water bottles, you want to use like stainless, like the Swell, which also keeps your temperature the way you want to. That's probably the best in even not the plastic, any form of plastic, actually. This is that, and because it does leach into the water in long term, because you never know, if you, especially if you carry the same plastic water bottle everywhere, because it's easier, then you don't know if you leave it for even like a day in the car exposed to sun, then yeah, that would definitely go into the water. So you want to be careful about that. And the bottled water, probably, that's kind of iffy. You have to be careful about it, especially if you do one use, you're okay, but you don't want to drink half and leave half of the bottled water around in the car. That's probably not the best. Yeah, apparently they were saying that they had this BPA free options, which is nowadays it's almost like you cannot do BP at all. So it's like they have made it a law. However, there are other plastics now. So ideally, glass bottles or the ones which have the like this the stainless steel bottle would be the best option. So again, choose products free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, and synthetic fragrance. Simplify, fewer ingredients when you look at the things in the ingredients. And then these two, you can remember the EWG and made safe, and then basically transition very gradually. Next slide. Replace, use, reserve, and then store. This is very important. um, Basically reserve the zero strong disinfectant for only high risk messes, and then store them, and please keep them away separately. We know that, but still it's something to keep in mind, especially if you have children and pets at home. You never know. Yeah, so this is a similar image we talked about before, but it's just kind of reinforcing things. Safer swaps, safe food storage preparation, again, glass containers, similar thing we talked about, nonstick pans, stainless steel, cast iron, ceramic, and of course, wash everything carefully. Install activated carbon, and yeah, this is important for drinking and cooking water. I think it's worth investing in an RO filter, because of all the chemicals like chlorine, fluoride, and a lot of other stuff. And it's not expensive. You want to do something called the under the sink ones. It's about 250 to $300. The whole house gets expensive. And then in the shower where you are actually take using the shower for for baths and things, you can use a shower filter, because that would take care of majority of your water issues. Of course, you have to change the filter regularly so that it keeps that way, and then using stainless steel or glass bottles for storing filtered water. Slide. Yeah, so this is again something which is also which I am trying as much as possible. So, how do you do this? Basically, it's the phones. We all carry our phones and we're stuck and glued to our phones. So, I know Bluetooth has its own issues, but I think it's still a little bit better option than putting your phone against your ear and talking on it, because it's so close, the radiation, to your head and brain, basically. Ideally, the corded headphones are better. And then you don't want to carry phones in your pocket near your chest as much as possible. And then at nighttime, I would say Don't keep it so close to your, nightstand. It has to be a distance so that you're not exposed to it. And again, if you can put it on airplane mode as much as possible when you're not using it, you get a break too. That would be great. And then again, you have to be careful again when you have children at home, how much they're exposed to nowadays. And one more thing is, I don't know if you can see it. They sell these kind of like it looks like a regular case, but this is magnet, and this really protects you and from the EMF from the phone. And actually, you can talk on it, like even if you put it against your ear, it's kind of it's called Safe. I forget what it's called. Hold on. It's called Safe Sleep, and some of you might know that already. So that's a company which you want to definitely invest, because we are like literally glued to our phones. So next slide. Yeah. So again, by organic as when possible, especially for produce. So produce, again, there is something called Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. If you go to this website, which is the EWG, we'll get a list of it. So that's kind of important for us to know, especially if you're eating it very often. For example, the dirty dozen would be the berries, apples, anything which you consume with the skin, essentially. You want to be careful of going organic. Others, it doesn't matter. For example, avocados, it doesn't matter. Anything with skin, orange, it doesn't matter. Things like that, bananas, it doesn't matter because they have the peel. So ideally it's okay when to eat the regular. Again, wash and soak conventional with baking soda and vinegar solution if you can. There's some sprays available which you can use. And of course, if you can grow your own herbs and garden and have a vegetable garden, that's the best. And then you don't want to spray, you can figure out what goes on it and not what you buy from outside. You have no control on it over it. Yeah. So again, have how do you support your body and detox, right? With a lot of water, clean water, filtered water, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and then exercising, which helps you sweat. That's again movement, move your body daily to support, circulation, lymphatic as well as blood circulation. Sleep, very important for detox and cellular repair. Then again, if you eat the right foods and fiber-rich foods and hydration, elimination is very important. So that would also help detox essentially. So routine, again, we talk about a low toxin daily routine, right? So simple habits, open windows daily, switch to natural products, clean filters regularly, start with one area and then upgrade products step by step, build weekly routines like washing, bedding, vacuuming, dusting, review what needs refilling or replacing, and then see how it feels. Does it feel much better the way your body's functioning? So that's your biggest barometer to see how you feel. Yeah, so this is the long-term lifestyle integration. Again, just be aware, keep up with the wellness stuff, and see what are the latest recommendation. Hopefully, I can help you with that. And then again, revisit products and habits every few months as new information appear. And then, of course, involve all the family members to help you in going low toxic to go in to support a low toxic environment. Okay, so this is takeaways: reduction of toxicity, reducing exposure to environmental toxins supports balanced hormones, strong immune system, and long-term vitality. Home environment, the primary source of daily toxin exposure. Prioritize clean air, clean water, clean products to lower the toxic load. Replace synthetic and chemical heavy items with alternatives, which we talked about, and then support the body's natural detoxification systems. And then let's as just being aware of whatever is going on in the environment, what is causing issues. and how can we adapt to it, and do our best. So there's no, all this information is important. It's not to scare people or anything like that. It's just to be more, cause more awareness, and do your best to see how you can be in like a, adapt like a lower toxic load in your life. That's it. Right. It was a little long, but I think it's a lot of information. You can definitely, do it at your own pace.